Stop wasting years drawing flat scenes. I drew 250 planes to finally understand 3D depth. So today we're going to be breaking down the 250 plane challenge I kind of derived from the DrawABox 250 box challenge. From why our brains struggle to see a 3D shape on a flat screen to the point where ghosting became more of a natural reflex for me. And stick around for the bonus, where I'll show you how these planes actually build a Webtoon room. If you're tired of feeling stuck in 2D, subscribe and let's work through the basics together. So today I want to talk about what I believe the biggest hurdle for beginners is, and it isn't a lack of talent like we all tend to think it is. It's that we draw symbols instead of forms on our page. When I started these DrawABox assignments, as you can see, I realized I couldn't really draw a clean and simple rectangle without it looking just a little bit warped in some way. It does get better as the video goes, but my brain was trying to draw what it knew a rectangle looked like rather than how it would actually sit in this 3D space, right? It's kind of like if you were trying to build a house on a foundation of sand, loose sand. Without a 3D depth, your characters or scenes will always feel like stickers. It took me several hours just to finish the first few pages of these because I was kind of fighting my 2D drawing habits, and I had to stop trying to make art and start practicing sight. And to move forward, I realized I had to focus on just one thing, right? And that was finding the perspective center that DrawABox teaches. And by drawing a line from one corner and a line from the other corner to corner, you'll force your brain to acknowledge how the plane is leaning. So drawing an X inside of the box, essentially. And this is where this exercise stopped feeling like a chore and started to become more of a mechanical test for me, right? Like something I could see progress in. And by playing 100 or so, I kind of stopped overthinking my lines. I wasn't really worried about the outcome. I was kind of focused more on the accuracy of things. And I think this volume built muscle memory, and the more I did, the less I had to think about where the pen would go. And because of that, I think my lines were becoming more confident, and I was finally trusting my arm to do stuff over my eyes. And if you're interested in working through these same exercises that I'm doing here and want a community that you can share your progress with, why not join our Discord? I'm trying to curate a supportive space for beginners kind of to document their progress in the grind of art. The link for that will be in the description. So stick around for the bonus section because I'm going to show you how these simple shapes and planes that I've been drawing in the background here can become the foundation for a believable Webtoon scene. And the most effective technique I learned during this 250 planes was ghosting. It became more natural. And all you really have to do is move your pen along a path, 3 or so times in the air before you actually touch the screen. And this kind of preloads the motion into your shoulder, so that by that fourth stroke or so, the line is a reflex and not just a guess. And around plane 150 or so, give or take, I had stopped having to remind myself to do it. It just kind of happened, and I think this is kind of the bridge between hesitating over a line and placing it with intent, right? I think it removes the fear of making a mistake that you have because you've already done it. Your body already knows what it's doing here. And it helps a lot with seeing these planes in a 3D space, as you can see in the background here. And I think a really important piece of information to take away would also be to stop chasing perfection. Stop trying to make these planes look like they're good art. These aren't going to be your finished illustrations, right? They're repetitive reps. It's like lifting weights for your coordination or strength. You will gain out of it, but it's not meant to be a perfect drawing. So start rotating them in different directions and tilt them away from you and maybe overlap them. That's something I didn't experiment, but maybe overlap them. And I don't know, by playing 200 or so, I kind of noticed a shift in my perception. I wasn't really seeing these planes as flat things I was drawing on the screen anymore, even when I wasn't finding the perspective center. I started feeling like I was seeing the surface of the object, like what the rotation was. And I kind of had a moment where I was like, oh, this is what 3D vision feels like for people on a canvas. It feels kind of like the ability to visualize the backside of an object before you draw it, right? And I think without this volume that I did here with these 250 or so planes, I think I did a little bit over like 256. Without that volume, you're kind of just guessing where everything should go instead of figuring it out for future artwork. I'm sure you've seen it, but finishing these 250 planes kind of proved that progress is a byproduct of volume when you're feeling behind. I think a lot of us feel behind because we want to jump straight into drawing that webtoon scene or character or anything without understanding the 3D space of the world, right? But I think once you've unlocked this foundation, which I'm still not fully there, the quote-unquote scary parts, right? I think they become a little bit more manageable. I stopped trying to overthink the how do I make this 3D and just started focusing on the what is it. These planes kind of are the bedrock of everything else you'll be drawing. If you send lines back in 3D space to a vanishing point, well, hey, you have a cube. And if you can't manipulate a plane in your head, I don't think you'll ever really be able to build a room for your characters to live in. I think it'll kind of feel like a boring detour, right? I think it's the fastest way to get to where you want to go, but honestly, this was boring. It wasn't fun. So I think if you put in the volume now and struggle now, you'll struggle less later when it actually matters to you, when you actually want to build that scene, and you won't have to struggle when you build that scene. You'll have the knowledge of these planes, you'll have the knowledge of 3D space, and it helps. And with that said, here's why it helps. Soon here, I'm going to be not drawing a webtoon scene, but instead copy pasting some of these planes and showing you how it can make a 3D scene. I think a room is kind of just a collection of surfaces, a collection of these planes, right? The wall is just a long plane, depending if it's sent back in space, depending on the view. It isn't really an exercise in geometry, it's just an exercise in visualizing. And once you can find these perspective centers, you can just grab these planes, throw them together, and make a room. Now, obviously, there's more to this. I stuck to it a little bit harder because I wanted to show you that at the end of the day, these planes that I took are just that, planes. But once you know how to draw them, you can draw these rooms more accurately than you think you could. Hey guys, thanks for the experience. If you liked this video, then YouTube also thinks you like this one. And if you like my content, why not consider dropping a subscribe? Thank you, bye.